My name is Melissa Deutsch Stein, and I'm the CEO of SDA Lighting Controls here in New York City. We cover the New York metro area, and we are a lighting representative of about 80 lighting manufacturers from around the world. So it's a little bit different than the European model or the Asian model. I think the Australian model is more similar to what we have in the Americas, but here we cover a geographic area covering the metro New York area, and we have exclusive contracts to bring lighting and controls products to lighting consultants, electrical engineers, architects, anyone who might be specifying lighting, and we try and have an array of tools or lines that would fulfill any of the needs that they might have for a project. Right, so coming into it not from the design side, like most of the other women who have been interviewed, combination of things. So one being nepotism. My father had started the business, also had a lighting manufacturing company, Linear Lighting. So I did grow up around the lighting business. I did work in the factory assembling fixtures during college, so I had some very hands-on experience that way. I then went off to university. I worked for 2 years at Macy's and Federated through their merger and integration process. Went back and got an MBA at the Sloan School at MIT, and then worked for what was then Anderson Consulting, now Accenture, as a strategy consultant. And at that point, I decided I felt like I was ready to get into the lighting business, and I started at SDA Lighting at that time. We're really lucky, I think, that as a rep, we get to work on every type of project. I mean, from the most pedantic street lighting in a small municipality to the most iconic buildings in Manhattan, facades, museums, high-end residential houses. So we're really involved in a lot. What I'm most proud of in the business area is that the team I've put together. I've put together a really amazing team, and I think that's a really important part of what we do, because we spend a lot of time together, and liking the people you work with and having a nice work rapport, I think makes whatever you're doing a much better environment. So on the other side of it, sometimes it's the people, because life comes up, and so you're dealing with illnesses and things like that, like any other business. I think the biggest personal challenge that I've had to deal with, I've now been doing this for 20 years, is the economic issues we've had. So, with the dot-com burst at 99, and then we went right into 9/11 in New York City, where pretty much all construction work stopped. And if there's no construction work going on in New York City, it makes a tough place to be in lighting. And then again, 2008 with the stock market crash, it also had a major effect on our business, as well as a lot of merger and acquisition that followed that stock market crash. So we were losing lines because of acquisitions, and trying to put the piece back together, because at the end of the day, it's my responsibility to make sure we can meet payroll every week and to make sure that we have product to fulfill the needs of the designers. And so I think we're so tied to the construction environment and economic ups and downs. That's one of the reasons that we try and get involved in many different types of projects. And by balancing the types of products we have in our line cards, having things when the economy was down and law firms and financial services and were not doing any work, or high-end resi wasn't happening, universities, hospitals, roadway projects, tunnels were all going on. And so we were able to quickly flip our mix of products, so it might not have been the most sexy work, but it was work. And then as the economy has gotten better, a lot of the other single floor tenant improvement work and high-end financial services work came back. What I think is the most interesting thing about lighting, when we're talking to anyone in lighting, of course they're emotionally committed, financially committed. Everyone's vested in lighting, understands how it works as a scientific tool, as an artistic tool. It's almost like a little bit of black magic, though, for everyone who's not in our little niche industry. And when I say to people, or you're at a party, what do you do? I'm a physician, I'm a lawyer, I'm in the lighting business. I sell lighting and controls. People kind of look at you and say, lighting? I say, yeah, lighting. Look up, look at the parking lot, look outside, every room you go in, and there's nothing more important than lighting that can affect mood, science, aesthetics. It really, it's a tool, it's an art form, and it's a science, and it's being used medically, for all sorts of different things, and is recognized, as early as the Old Testament, where they said, and then God said, "Let there be light." So whether it's natural or electric, I think light is always played such an important part of the way people feel, react, see, function, and then it's been so underestimated that it's kind of fun to be like, part of the puppet strings behind the scenes that help make it happen. I think
related to your experience?
Yeah, I think when working with people, you have to treat them as humans, and people have dentist appointments, and they have good days and they have bad days, and if you treat people with respect and you give them the room to make mistakes and to teach them, and if you give them the responsibility and let them ask questions when they have questions, I think people rise up to the occasion. Not everything's going to be perfect, but I'm super involved in every interview. I think there has to be a good chemistry and a good rapport, as well as a skill set. Sometimes people have the skill set and not the chemistry. That's hard. Sometimes someone has the chemistry but not the skill set, and that's easier because we can train them. So I think fit is really important, but I think people have to be given responsibility and not micromanaged, and having over time develop and train people so that they can do what you hired them to do. And I don't need to micromanage. I don't think I micromanage. I don't know, I have one employee here now, she's saying no, that I don't micromanage. Because at the end of the day, everyone has a life outside of work as well. And I have 2 children. It's New York, so I have a 2 to 3 hour commute every day. And so there's just not enough hours in the day that you have to have confidence in people and educate. And I think that way everyone wants to perform their best if you give them the opportunity to. I think my message to women in lighting is the same as to any woman in the workplace. I think you have to advocate for yourself. You have to know what you know and know what you don't know. And there's no shame in saying, where I think men kind of pretend that they know everything that they don't know, because they feel like it's a weakness to not know something. If I am going into a meeting and I need someone, whether it be a technical controls person or whatever area that I'm not comfortable with, I bring them. And as a team, we're stronger. I don't need to know everything. I just need to make sure that I have all the right tools and people with me, so that as a group, that we're a better product than me alone could ever be.